Welcome to the Property Guide. You're watching ET Now. I'm Faye D'Souza. Remember, this is your one-stop guide to buying property in the country. Our email ID is at the bottom of your screen. First up, if you have any feedback or questions about buying a home, write to us at thepropertyguide@et-now.com. You can also reach me personally on Twitter. It'll be my pleasure to hear from you. Now, a few months ago, when we got a brand new government sworn in Delhi, there was a lot of talk about a recovery in the property market. We heard from customers of builders who were delaying deals with hopes that they could increase prices. But 3 months down the line, that recovery is patchy and slow, and in some markets, it's nearly untraceable. What does this mean? Is this a delayed recovery? Are we not in a recovery at all? What are the sales numbers, the absorption numbers, the launch numbers telling us in different cities? Today, we're going to focus on that said recovery. We're going to go city to city. We'll examine the numbers and we'll make sense of the sales. Joining us to help us do all of that is Samantak Das, Chief Economist and Director Research at Knight Frank India, Jayashree Kurup, Head of Content and Research at magicbricks.com. I think we have several decades of research experience between the two of our guests today, and I'm so happy to hear that. Sam, this largely we're basing on a report that Knight Frank released this week. Tell me this. I mean, that we could go over the numbers for many hours, but unfortunately we don't have that much time on the show. Are we in a recovery at all? Because going by the numbers, if sales have been slow, now launches have slowed down as well, and there are several quarters worth of absorption and unsold apartments in all of our cities, does this mean that things haven't changed at all from where we were in the beginning of this year?
Yeah, Faye, if you take the June data till the first half of 2014, definitely the numbers are very scary, alarming numbers. We see a fall of, say, around 32% in terms of launches, new launches, nearly 27% in terms of absorption. So there's a massive sliding in terms of launches and absorption. However, as you were mentioning, or rather asking me, the thing is this: yes, we forecast, because we do forecasting of residential sector. We are forecasting some sort of a delayed recovery in the second half of 2014.
On what basis? See, we thought that because the new government would come in and they would change a lot of things, sentiment changed on the ground, that we would see a recovery. That has not happened yet. So when you say second half, which we are in right now,
right?
On what basis?
There are several factors. It's starting from the very, very micro factors to macro factors. Now, when we talk of political factors, the expectations, sentiments, yes, it has already set in. But, translating those things into numbers, we are putting it a delayed recovery in the sense that October, November, December. So we will see numbers, picking up in that quarter. So second quarter of the second half. So that's what we are seeing. The thing is this: we predict that it will not go beyond that, because either an investor or an end user would like to really go into for us, purchase before the positive, numbers in the macroeconomy, in real estate, everything, those come up,
Before any fresh triggers for the
Exactly,
market.
and that's very important. So that should be the timing for anybody to get into it.
Jayashree, I want to bring you in here. You speak to customers on a regular basis. You also have done so much research on the fact that you have a housing sentiment index right now. Tell me this: if Sam tells us customers are waiting, they're still sitting on the fence, something we've been talking about now for over a year, do you think that between now and October, November, these customers are actually going to get what they're waiting for? Are sales, are deals on the table going to get better in the next 2 months, or does it make sense to wait?
Say, the housing sentiment index that we came out with NCR Bangalore also shows that there is positive sentiment in the market. That sentiment has not translated into the buy factor yet, for the simple reason that the government has not made big ticket announcements from the real estate perspective. The government is also taking time to absorb what's happening in the market and how it should intervene. Also remember that real estate cannot be driven by central government. Real estate has to be at the states and even the localities. So the municipal bodies have to do a lot. Therefore, look at it like this: the consumer has clearly indicated that I'm willing to buy. and I'm looking for properties to buy. But the consumer is also saying that I'm taking my time. I know that values will go up, but I still think there is a 6 to 8 month window, and this was what the consumer came back telling us in a survey that happened sometime in June, July. Will it happen in the next 3 months because the festive season is here? I don't think so. I think the people who want to buy and who find the right property to buy are going ahead and making their purchase. But will large volumes of sale happen in this period of time? I think we are still a while away from that, at least 6 months.
At least 6 months. So there's a difference of opinion here between both of our guests. Sam believes it's going to happen in the next 2 months. Jayashree says 6 months. Sam a little skeptical because 2 months is a really short time for this market to turn around it.
Let me tell you, I don't think there is much of deviation what Jayashree is saying and what we are saying. We are saying that the revival will start now. Okay. So if you see our figures, the year-end figure is still below 2013 total. Okay. So revival is initiation of revival will happen in the second half. The peak will come, or real volumes may come even after that. That's fine. We are saying that the revival is in the second half, maybe the second quarter of the second half.
Every time we talk about an entire real estate report, obviously we're going to talk about Mumbai. This is interesting. Mumbai historically has been a city where people were looking for homes and couldn't find enough because it's a tiny island. Things are turning. Unsold inventory of residential apartments in the city, according to Knight Frank, stands at over 2 lakh units, and it says it could take almost 3 years to completely exhaust that unsold inventory of residential apartments, even if people continue to buy homes at the rate they've been buying over the last 2 years. Tell me this. Does this mean, and this is a question all of our viewers will be asking, does this mean prices will come down?
No.
Why not?
See, this is the peculiarity. I'm sure that most of the real estate researchers are very, very puzzled about this. We have actually seen this across time, across different locations in Mumbai, that it really doesn't go by the simple demand-supply, algorithm. It doesn't. There are several factors, and Mumbai is such a typical city, which is very prone to these externalities. We call it externalities. The point is, suppose, for example, a simple airport or simple metro, phase 2, phase 3 declaration, or just a plan really kicks the price up. And it's happening more in Mumbai and NCR than in cities like Chennai, Kolkata. Okay. So the sensitivity of price to any positive or negative trigger is very high in Mumbai and NCR. Okay. So, we could not really, let me tell you very frankly, we are puzzled that it doesn't really follow that demand-supply algorithm. What I can tell you is this quarter to sale, which is now 12, as you said, 3 years, we are seeing some sort of a tapering off now as we are predicting the next 6 months. But it will not come down now. It will be steady at 12, which is again a good indicator for Mumbai. So that much we can tell you. Yes, the pressure is very high, but the unsold inventory pressure, but the pressure is not increasing in the coming 6 months. Okay. So that's a silver lining for Mumbai.
All right. It's very slim silver lining.
Yeah, very slim.
Very slim.
Absolutely.
Jayashree, tell me this. Now, we talked about the offers last week, and we've been talking about Mumbai for a while. For buyers in Mumbai right now who probably think that a lot of the launches that are available in the market are still fairly overpriced, should they be going and pushing for really hard discounts across the table from developers? If yes, what brackets do you think that we can, gain the biggest discounts in right now?
See, it's like this. Mumbai has a huge unsold inventory. But if you look at the profile of the inventory, a lot of the inventory is not where the demand is. The demand, like I said last week too, there is a growing demand for luxury property. But the supply is still way over what the demand is. So even if you have a huge demand for luxury property, you've built in the luxury property so much, luxury segment so much that overhang is very high. on the other hand, there is a very, very strong demand in the 50 to 80 lakh category, which is completely undersupplied. So when we talk about a city's inventory, we actually need to slice and dice and see that where the demand is and where the supply is. The supply is not where the demand is, and that's why the inventory is not moving. And I think the consumer in the mid segment is the one who's very active today. In the Mumbai market, it's roughly the 50 to 80 lakh category. Not much supply there, but huge demand. Anyone who builds there will do very well. But the point is that not very many are building there.
So will the large takeaway from Mumbai then simply be this: if I am in the luxury market to buy right now, it's a great time for me. I can go down to any of the builders who are building in central Mumbai, building luxury properties, push a hard bargain and actually close a deal. Is this good news for someone who's looking at 3 CR and upwards on the island?
I think so. I think so. The developers are in a mood to sell. If the consumer is not over greedy, this is a good time to go out and look for luxury properties. Also remember that if anyone is planning to upgrade their living, it's a bad time to sell, right? The markets are not vibrant yet, but it's a good time to buy. So if anyone can actually go out and negotiate a good deal and start buying, and whatever the existing property is, sell it once the markets pick up. If you can have the buffer money with you, this is a good time to do that.
So this basically means that it's a good time for the HNI of the rich in Mumbai, because A, you either have to have enough cash in your bank account to buy a new apartment without selling the one you have, or you need to be in the luxury market. So it's good news for those buyers in Mumbai. Let's look at the NCR, and this is interesting about the NCR. Greater Noida has 10 quarters worth of unsold inventory. It's among the unhealthiest micro markets in the country right now. The whole of NCR and Greater Noida in particular, how bad is it at this point in terms of tracking that recovery?
See, I think it's standstill. I can tell you that till last week there was hardly any traction. Only thing that I can tell you is that yes, it cannot be worse than this, because a market which has come down 50% nearly in terms of volume. See, any market, I think everybody will agree on this, any market, any city has some sort of a volume to operate at.
Yes.
Like we know that the NCR market operates at 80 to 1 lakh units or 70 to 80,000 units. See, if it comes down for till to 40,000 or 50,000, it's a massive decline.
Yes.
So what the developers are doing now, they are more into completion of projects. That is helping them in two ways. One is you are restricting the supply, the new launches, which is better for the market right now, NCR. And second, they are putting in more confidence in the minds of the consumers by showing that they are taking all efforts to complete the projects. Any which ways, today at NCR, in NCR and any other cities, you see that completed projects or nearing completion projects are much more sought after because you have the confidence.
Yes.
So that's exactly what is happening in NCR now.
Jayashree, obviously NCR has had a problem in terms of delayed projects for a while now. Is that the only reason why confidence is so much lower than it is in other parts of the country? What are you hearing from customers in the NCR in particular? And from those customers who are sitting on the fence, what markets do they have their eye on?
See, actually the Greater Noida and Noida markets have had a series of policy crises. If you look at what happened with the farmers' agitation, if you look at what happened with the, the eco-sensitive zone, the Okhla sanctuary, these are all deterrents to consumers to buy. But I am, despite the fact that there is a 50% overhang, I am still positive about that market because that is a low-priced market, and my housing sentiment index is showing that that is where the demand lies. The consumer has a positive sentiment, wants to buy. The consumer is only waiting for the policy act to play out. And in the Greater Noida and Noida markets, it is actually the government turning around and saying, okay, you can sell now. So the developers know this very well, and that is one reason why the developers have gone ahead and continued building. And therefore, there is a lot of ready-built stock. The stock is in the right price bracket, so it's a good market. However, the consumer will wait, because it's not one problem, it has been a series of problems. So I think the consumer is still saying that let me check this market out. I know there's enough stock, I know I can go out and pick up the property, and it is in my budget, but I would rather that I was sure that the policy crisis is over.
Sam, tell me this. Your report also said that, interestingly, a lot of the launches in the NCR region over the last 1 year have been in Gurgaon. They've been in the luxury segment. Is that because that is where the demand is in Gurgaon?
It was.
Okay. It isn't anymore.
There is a definite resistance, as Jayesh was saying. There is a definite resistance to price in Gurgaon now. Okay. And that's exactly what we are getting from our brokers as well.
Okay. So, Jayesh, what is your takeaway for people in the NCR region? Would you say this waiting for policy to play out is a good strategy? Do you suggest that we continue to do that? Or do you think that if I have the money, I've seen the right apartment, it's close to completion, it's almost complete, I should just go ahead and buy it anyways?
If you've seen the right apartment, go ahead and purchase it. Just be sure that you get a proper due diligence done by the banks, by a legal authority, so that you're sure that you don't have a problem. The Greater Noida market, people are still, I don't think even my saying, please go and buy, is going to trigger a buy yet, because that policy initiative has to be spelled out. Dwarka Expressway, everybody knows, is towards the end of its crisis, and it is in the takeoff stage. If the developers offer attractive deals, Dwarka Expressway consumers are willing to buy, but I think the Delhi NCR market will wait for about 6 months.
All right, so we've talked about Mumbai and Delhi and the fact that the situation looks rather bleak in terms of sales, launches and absorption. When we come back from the break, we'll talk about cities that are actually still doing well. We'll talk about Bangalore and Pune. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching the Property Guide on ET Now. For those of you who just tuned in, we're talking about the recovery that we were expecting in our property market and the fact that we haven't seen it arrive yet. Sales, launches and absorption in most of our cities have slowed down. We talked about Mumbai and the NCR, both of which have actually seen the brunt of this slowing recovery. We're now going to talk about a market that has actually done well, Bangalore. While demand for homes increased about 13% over 2013, it is expected that demand will continue to increase. It has the lowest number of unsold apartments in this particular market compared to the other markets that we talked about, and we're expecting it, of course, to continue to do well. Tell us what numbers you're looking at in Bangalore right now, and in comparison to the other cities. Is Bangalore at the top of this recovery, and will it continue to perform in this manner?
It is Bangalore, as we have analyzed, it's at the top of the recovery, because even in the first half till June, it has shown the least decline. So now in the recovery phase, of course, we are expecting that a robust recovery, but not really at the top of all the 6 cities.
Okay.
So it is very, very, I would say, controlled recovery. So we are not seeing any spike in Bangalore in terms of recovery. So both launches and absorption will go in a tandem way, much more reliable, I would say. You can depend on the recovery. So
what you're saying basically is that Bangalore is the healthiest market we have in the country, because it has the lowest volatility on both ends, whether it's the upside or the downside.
And even if you see the inventory structure, it's the most, it's the healthiest amongst all the 6 cities.
I want to bring in Jayashree here, who very interestingly is in Bangalore right now. I was in Bangalore earlier this week. Jayashree, one of the most brilliant things about this city, then we've talked about this, is the range of supply. You can buy an apartment in Bangalore for as little as 25 or 30 lakh rupees, and you can go up to 4 crore rupees. So there's supply right now across that entire range. And if you land in that city and exit the airport, you will be bombarded with hoarding after hoarding talking about real estate. Tell us what you're picking up on the ground right now, Jayashree. Since you're there, is sentiment different in Bangalore than it is in the rest of the country?
Bangalore has not really, like Sam said, Bangalore has been a steady market which has weathered the downturn pretty well. And Bangalore is continuing on that path. It's not that Bangalore is suddenly taking off and rising. I think Bangalore, the sentiment never really dipped so bad, and it's continuing at a steady pace. Now that the consumer is saying, okay, let me go out and buy tomorrow. That's not happening. But the consumer is out there in the market viewing the properties, and in Bangalore, if you see a good property, I think the consumer is more than willing to go out and buy it.
Sam, you talked about the fact on your report, you said South Bangalore has consistently seen the majority of the new launches, not so much in the rest of the city. Is that the market that you expect will do the best over the next 1 year?
See, new launches, of course, I think that South Kanakpura Road and all those things, that stretch is really seeing some sort of new launches happening. Of course, now it's a history, but Hebel in North has really, taken its good shape, I would say, in terms of residential market. But I will still, today, if you ask me, I'll try to still, put my investment in East Bangalore. I mean, still today.
Okay. What neighborhoods are those?
Budigri Cross and Kerpuram, that area. I mean, it's basically what I feel is still, it has much more potential than what it has reached till today.
Jashi, since you're in Bangalore right now, Sam tells us East Bangalore is where he sees the most value in terms of appreciation. Do you agree with that, or do you have a different neighborhood to offer us?
In Bangalore, I think the demand is kind of spread out. I see a lot of traditional Bangaloreans going back to MG Road and redevelop property. There is a demand there. There is a take-up there. The Whitefield IT corridors are doing well. Banerghatta, Kanakpura, huge amount of launches. So I think probably the most launches in those areas. And there is demand there. So I wouldn't say that Bangalore's future lies in any one direction. I think it is that the city is posting very positive vibes in the real estate market.
All right, the advice we always give when it comes to Bangalore is look for the beeline of the IT industries and where their offices are and buy around those neighborhoods. I want to very quickly slip in another city that has been doing well, like Bangalore, and of course, that's Pune, and we've seen Pune's absorption has also been good. You said not as good as Bangalore,
but I would say that not as bad as Mumbai or even NCR. Yeah. So see Pune. If you see Pune, we see right now. Let's talk of West Pune. That's the market which is really showing some sort of real traction. Of course, in a relatively very weak market, but still tractions are there. And that's very, very easy to talk about because you have Hinjewadi, you have Tathavade and all those places. It's all IT driven. And what we are projecting is IT is going to grow. So that will affect your Bangalore as well at a 14 to 15% growth rate, which is very similar to the NASSCOM growth as well.
Right.
So it is not going to grow at 25-30%, which we saw a couple of years back. So in terms of potential for future, I would go even for East Pune, which is your Vagoli and all those places. But right now happening, yes, West Pune. So that's my...
Jashi, research shows us that about 80 or a little over 80% of the new launches in Pune are in the 50 lakh rupee bracket or below that. Is that where the demand is right now? What is your advice for someone who's looking to buy in Pune?
Absolutely, Faye. We find that the 20 to about 45 lakh is the maximum demand in Pune, and people are looking for property. Again, very similar to the Bangalore market. Pune people are looking at property across the city, various parts of the city. But look at it like this: IT is a strong driver. Both in Bangalore and Pune, IT is a driver. The message from the government is that we want to make India a manufacturing hub. Pune has a strong manufacturing demand, and this demand is fueling a lot of search for properties around the manufacturing corridors, and therefore I think that Pune I would actually say that Pune is a very positive market. Good demand, proper supply where the demand is. The consumer, as soon as the consumer starts buying, there will be a lot of buy in these markets, and there is supply. So I think it will be a much faster take-up than probably Mumbai and the Delhi NCR.
All right. Unfortunately, we've completely run out of time on this show, but quick takeaways for those of you who are looking to make a pure investment in real estate. Top markets, healthiest markets, Bangalore and Pune. The least healthy markets in the country right now are Mumbai and the NCR. If you have questions about what you heard for either of our guests, you want them to come back into the studio and answer your questions for you, write to us. Our email ID is at the bottom of your screen. Sam, thank you so much for coming into the studio. It was a pleasure to have you on the show for the first time. We hope you'll come back again soon. Jayashree, as always, very, very grateful that you came in and spent time with us. Thank you so much. That's a wrap on the Property Guide. Thank you for watching.